Thanks to Surfshark VPN for sponsoring today's video. Browsing the web is fun and all, but it does have its snags. Most of the time, folks are not even aware of the amount of surveillance, limitation, and data mining happening to them on a daily basis, and there's a lot of it too. Too much, in fact. It's like a face full of bees. But with Surfshark VPN, you do have an easy one-for-all solution. For the web stuff, not the bee thing. On Windows, Android, or Apple products, whatever burns a hole in your wall faster with a click of a button, Surfshark turns you into an anonymous and hard-to-track user, giving you more freedom on the internet, keeps you away from prying eyes, and prevents companies from doing things like geo-blocking, where video and streaming services restrict your library simply because of where you live. That's all non-issue thanks to Surfshark. You start up their service, you choose your location, you refresh the page, and there you go, your favorite show that you couldn't watch because you dared to live somewhere else, you inconsiderate scumbag. How dare you? And those that use the link in the description below and enter the special code Johnny will not only get 83% off their initial order, but the next 3 months are also completely free. Thank you as always for helping support this channel. Now let's continue on with the show. And here we are with another one of my favorite games of all time. Games being the key word there, because today's subject is technically 2 games in one. Sonic the Hedgehog might have been one of the best-selling games in the Sega Genesis, but thanks to Sonic the Hedgehog 2's hotly anticipated release and reception, the Blue Hedgehog status was set in stone. By the end of 1993, Sonic was one of the most recognizable video game characters ever, seeing exposure in not only games, but television shows, commercials, even getting a dedicated balloon for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. It's too bad in its debut, high winds ended up rupturing the poor fucker's eyeball and sent him crashing.
As the balloon began deflating, it pulled the lamp off the pole, dropping it to the ground where the falling metal injured a man and a little girl.
And if that isn't some sort of omen, I don't know what is. Sonic was on top of the world, and Sega would be damned if they didn't push through with that momentum. No more "it's too soon for a sequel" shit. This was it. This was their megastar. So for the next game, they wanted to blow Sonic 2 out of the water in every regard. Development of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 began as early as January of 1993, and the Sega Technical Institute at this point was split into 2 teams, one comprised of Japanese developers who would work on Sonic 3, and the other American developers who would work on other games. So much for trying to mingle and learn from both parties in the same team. That philosophy went out the fucking window, didn't it? Yuji Naka and Hirokazu Yasuhara once again took lead roles for Sonic's next adventure, and it would also be the debut of Takashi Iizuka's contributions to Sonic as one of the game's core designers, a name you're probably more familiar with in Sonic's modern era. Yeah, this is where he got his start with the Blue Dude. One of Sonic 3's immediate goals was putting a little more emphasis on the story this time in hopes of creating a much larger adventure. And I can say now, yeah, Sonic 3 completely is a much larger game. It can easily take double, triple the time it would take to complete Sonic 2, going for the emeralds or otherwise. So mission accomplished, yeah? Sure, but you bet your ass there were some snags. Because of a pending McDonald's promotion to tie into the next game, the team was given 1 year to make the game. It did not matter to Sega that Sonic 2 was under an equally tight schedule and shit had to be cut because of that, and they wanted this game to be larger than that. That McDonald's moolah was just too tempting, I take it. So the team got right to work, and at first they wanted to make a new game that would take advantage of Sega's virtual processor chip, pretty much the Genesis equivalent to the Super Nintendo's Super FX chip, allowing the console to render real-time polygons. You can see it in action with the 1994 Virtual Racing. And no shit, I mean, if I were to compare, this looks like it ran way better than the original Star Fox and Stunt Race FX. However, this was the only game on the Genesis to incorporate this processor chip. For one, the damn thing was super expensive to produce, and thus it was sold at a premium. It was priced at $100 in 1994, which is like, carry the one. $180 in today's economy. Yeah, so they probably didn't want their next Sonic game to be literally unsellable to the wide masses, and because the chip itself wouldn't be ready to utilize until late in the game's development, the team decided to just stick with what they knew and expand from there. But with only so much time in their hands on top of wanting to produce a game that would top Sonic 2, development was unsurprisingly stressful anyway. In an interview years later, director of STI at the time, Roger Hector, called Sonic 3's production troubling given the scope of the game, Sega continuously peeking over everyone's shoulders to check progress, and troubled communication with the Japanese developers, with Yuji Naka even being described as hard to work with at points. You know, the more I look back into these old games, the more I get the feeling that a young Yuji Naka was kind of an asshole sometimes. And keeping their finger on the pulse of pop culture at this time, Michael Jackson was even contracted to produce music for the new Sonic game, as the King of Pop was already a fan of Sonic beforehand. But then shit would go foobar for varying reasons, causing MJ to leave the project and go uncredited. And I don't know if it was because of the initial child abuse allegations or it was because Jackson was unhappy with the sound of his productions. MJ's actual contributions to Sonic 3's score is still, even in 2021, one of the greatest fucking mysteries of Sonic 3's development. And I like to think the last thing that we as a species will learn before the heat death of this planet is whether Michael Jackson actually made any music for this fucking game, and if it's still in there. I mean, the answer is clearly somewhat. You know what? Sure, let's get into the music real quick. So you remember that Sonic & Knuckles PC collection I mentioned in the Sonic 2 video? That was how I got back into my Sonic 3 swing. The music was all MIDI compositions though, and they weren't anything amazing. Not only that, but the tracks for Carnival Night, Ice Cap, Launch Bass, and Boss music were also totally different. And at first I thought, oh, maybe it was just because they really couldn't emulate the kind of sound the Genesis could output. That's a great theme. But then, just a couple of years ago, a prototype of Sonic 3 was dumped on the internet dating back to 1993. And to my shock, the music tracks for the zones I mentioned were the PC tracks, only with proper Genesis instruments. It blew my mind. Holy fuck, these were the original tracks all along. So what does that mean for the tracks we hear now? Why the change? It had to be because of Michael Jackson's involvement, but are they his actual contributions? Are they tracks from Brad Buxer, one of Jackson's sound collaborators? Were they retooled Jackson compositions from Howard Drosten, who had to make new songs in short time after MJ left because of the abuse allegations? I just don't know why Sega or others are so goddamn tight-lipped about it. Is it just legal reasons? What sort of deal was made? Why has Sonic 3 rarely seen a re-release after Jackson's death? What did he know? How deep does it go? I don't fucking care who composed what, and there's a lot of names attached to Sonic 3's soundtrack too. Look at this, holy shit, it was a huge project, but damn. For what it's worth though, Sonic 3 does have a superb soundtrack altogether. It's one of my favorites in the franchise. It could be a bit of 90s bias there. That was my childhood. Sonic 3 heavily exudes the era it was developed with a good dose of pop, funk, rock, and did I mention pop? Goodness, the pop really pops in this pop. Great shit all around. My favorite tracks being, let me think here, Hydro City, both acts, Launch Bass, the MJ one, I don't know, Mushroom Hill, very bouncy, all the bonus stage music, Blue Sphere, goodness, the multiplayer tracks. So Sonic 3 brings back multiplayer like in Sonic 2, but this time the stages are all unique to this mode, and much shorter, so I don't think they have the same zing as in Sonic 2. Despite having some great level aesthetics, I would have loved to see fleshed out in actual levels in single player mode, but that's not what we got here. Still, they went extra hard on the music for these tiny ass stages, and they're all great, seriously. Azure Lake, Balloon Park, Desert Palace, Chrome Gadget, and Endless Mine, wonderful pieces of music. Like Sonic CD Japanese, I enjoy the whole soundtrack. Not as much as Sonic CD Japanese, but Sonic 3 is my favorite among the Genesis games. And just to quickly highlight this, but I always admired how Sonic music on the Genesis, the whole trilogy really, they were Genesis games that didn't sound like Genesis games. When I think of Genesis music, I always think of that twang. You know what I'm talking about, that. And hey, I'm not saying it's immediately bad if it has twang. I really enjoy the Genesis Mortal Kombat music, and it's almost nothing but. But the folks behind the scenes with Sonic had that extra special magic that didn't immediately date the sound, if you get me. But I know for some, that's exactly why they enjoy the Genesis sound font. Anyway, the developers were realizing that Sonic 3 was becoming too big for its britches. With what they had in mind, what they wanted to achieve, there was simply no way they were going to make that early 1994 deadline to coincide with that godforsaken Happy Meal. But instead of just cutting stuff out like they did with Sonic 2, this time they decided they were going to split the game in two, and so we got Sonic the Hedgehog 3 in February of 1994, and Sonic & Knuckles in October of 1994, this game acting not so much as a dedicated sequel, but as a continuation of the earlier release, like a new episode of a television show. To make up for splitting the game, Sonic & Knuckles was a special cartridge that allowed players to connect their Sonic 3 and play the game as originally designed. One gargantuan adventure that consisted of over 14 zones, 3 playable characters, multiplayer, and a shit ton of replayability. When talking about Sonic the Hedgehog 3 nowadays, I think it's safe to assume most folks are talking about the combination of Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles, because like I said, that was how the game was originally meant to be. It was only because of McDonald's that the games were split up. That's a sentence I definitely said out loud. Is there merit in playing the games individually, the way kids did in 1994 between releases? Yes and no. Both games individually are about as long as Sonic the Hedgehog 2, but they don't have as many zones. The stages are longer, but both games have a sort of anticlimactic aura around them. Say if you jumped into Sonic 3 standalone and only played that, some things just ring a little thin. Knuckles is a dude who pops in from time to time but gets no proper closure. After launch base, he falls down and that's that. You don't even get to play as the dude. We stopped the Death Egg from relaunching, but the game just sort of ends right after. Great credit music though. You enter the level select code in the title screen after 3,000 attempts, and you see levels inaccessible. Mushroom Valley, Flying Battery, was there something I missed? No, they're just not in the game. And with Sonic and Knuckles, we can actually play as Knuckles here, that's cool, but Tails is nowhere to be seen, which is very odd seeing as this is supposed to be right after Sonic 3. Where the hell did he go? The difficulty curve is also a little screwy. I don't find either Sonic 3 or Sonic and Knuckles to be particularly hard, but in Sonic and Knuckles' case, the third stage is Sandopolis, and that's like, what the fuck? Sonic 3 lets you save your game and continue on another day. Sonic and Knuckles does not. Both games have Blue Sphere for special stages, but only Sonic 3 has the Gumball bonus stage, while Sonic and Knuckles has both the Slot Machine and Glowing Sphere game. And what's the deal with these huge emeralds in Hidden Palace Zone? Are they props or are they something more? Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles are two pieces of a set. They don't quite have the same punch as individual titles, especially compared to Sonic 2. No, it's very clear they are meant to be one game, so I will always look and judge them as a combined game. And I know that's exactly why some people prefer Sonic 2 overall, because yeah, Sonic 3 and Knuckles is a big fucking game. For some, it's too big. We're talking a 2-hour plus 2D Sonic game, and I know that doesn't sound like much, but for the high-speed antics a Sonic game usually comes with, that burns you out after a while, and the levels themselves are much larger across the board. There's rarely a stage that takes less than 3 minutes, and that's when you're going fast and not, clipping through the floor and shit. I get it, I totally understand why people prefer Sonic 2, the pacing is just out of this world. But personally, I'm not bothered by the length of Sonic 3 and Knuckles, nor the size of the levels except Sandopolis Act 2, and that's why I slightly prefer it over 2. I enjoy the level themes and presentation of Sonic 3 a lot more. How levels progress the story with action pieces that sort of hijack game time for the sake of progressing the narrative, but they all fall in line with Sonic's kinetic appeal. And I love how in this game, one act of a zone leads directly into another, really making these stages feel larger than life, and how every zone logically transitions into the next, emphasizing the adventure element. There is more to explore, more speed to generate, more set pieces that give every stage a unique feel. They do dip their hands too many times into the chase gimmick, I'll give you that. The Angel Island battleship, the wall in Hydro City, the ceiling in Marble Garden, Flying Battery has the same shit. The sand in Sandopolis. They keep you on your toes like in Sonic 2, but it does feel a little lazy at times. And if there's one thing Sonic 3 loves doing is testing out your subwoofer, because shit gets loud all the time in this game. Constant screen vibrations with some loud ass. That's all over the place in Sonic 3, and with headphones on, my ears start to bleed a bit. But for the sake of this video, I played this game a lot. I played Sonic 3 alone, I played Sonic and Knuckles, and I did 3 complete playthroughs with Sonic 3 and Knuckles with all 3 characters, as well as a Sonic 3 Angel Island Remastered playthrough, a mod of the Steam version, because holy fuck, this is no doubt the best version of Sonic 3 and Knuckles with widescreen support and so much customizable options at your beck and call to make your ideal Sonic 3 playthrough. And then I did a prototype playthrough for shits and giggles, and then finally a Knuckles and Sonic 2 playthrough. Can you tell I really like this game? Was I a little sick of it afterwards? Sure, but I'd do it again. And at some point, I will do it again. Plus, come on man, it was cool combining the games together, a novel, if a bit outdated concept that I feel is lost in today's age of digital libraries and emulation. When I was a kid and I first got to do this, it was like a magic trick. It was the Sonic 3 title screen, but it was playing the Sonic and Knuckles music. It's a shame that some of the music tracks are lost when you combine the games. The mini-boss music in Sonic 3 alone is completely cut, and we also don't get the first Knuckles theme either. And when you're playing as Sonic, you don't fight the big arm boss at the end of Launch Base. It's one of Robotnik's greatest contraptions because this motherfucker can do the impossible and actually harm Super Sonic. Wait, he didn't... Okay, I could have sworn Big Arm could harm Super Sonic, but that's not what... He ruined my joke. The game came out at the perfect age for me. I was 6 to 7 years old in 1994, and a new Sonic game with the lock-on technology, it was like a toy within a toy. Fuck the McDonald's stuff. I was getting my jollies just by connecting the cartridges. Not to mention, we got one of the best promotional images for Sonic ever created. You can't tell me this isn't one of the greatest promos in all of Sonic. This shit slaps. Simplicity sells, and this sure as shit sold me. But dedicated fans could also lock on their copy of Sonic 2 to play the adventure with Knuckles. You could use his glide to fly over whatever you could, or ambush an enemy giving you shit. Nailed it. His wall climb could be used to ignore certain obstacles, but his initial jump was shorter than Sonic's, and that made some levels a little awkward to complete, I think. Aquatic Ruin isn't nearly as fun with Knuckles compared to the other two. He just can't jump over these damn pillars. His arms are also flesh-colored in the special stages, that's a little gross. But he gets to keep his rings after crossing a checkpoint though, even after death, so that should make getting the emeralds a little easier, I'd imagine. I don't often play as Knuckles in Sonic 2. He's not much different than Sonic, but his unique skills don't add much to the standard Sonic 2 experience, so you're not missing anything. Anyway, I think Knuckles realized I didn't properly introduce him in this video yet. I am kind of reading the last page first here, aren't I? But yeah, Sonic and Tails were back in action, but Sonic 3 brought along Knuckles the Echidna as Sonic's new rival turned eventual friend. And he looks about as much of an echidna as Sonic does a hedgehog. Sonic team taking some major artistic license there. The plot of Sonic 3 sort of picks up immediately where Sonic 2 left off. Robotnik's Death Egg was put out of commission, but the wreckage is landed in the nearby Angel Island, home of Knuckles and the Master Emerald which he protects. Robotnik has sights on the Master Emerald in hopes of repairing the Death Egg and conquering the world, so he tricks Knuckles into thinking Sonic is after his lost piece, pitting the two against each other in very brief encounters. Knuckles is more like an internet shit poster than dedicated rival. He even looks like a little gremlin in the European box art. You know, the one that says Sonic 3 but Sonic's holding up 4 fingers? Moron. Knuckles mainly shows up to cause minor inconveniences here and there. He makes one hell of an entrance though. You got Sonic and Tails entering Angel Island on the hunt for Robotnik, and I guess Sonic had D&D that night with friends because he starts off going Super Sonic, looking to wrap things up fast, but then Knuckles uppercuts the fuck out of him, knocking the emeralds out of Super Sonic's possession. Damn, Knuckles got hands. After that, Knuckles isn't nearly as cool. Just a dude that gives you a love tap before fucking off or going down pathetically easy. It's weird. A much grander adventure is in store for the Hedgehog and Fox, and we got some new skills to aid us in our journey. Control is as fluid as before, and the spin dash is back and just as fun to utilize here as it was in Sonic 2. No super peel out though, I'm guessing STI didn't care for the Sega CD either. Tails has gotten a couple of upgrades. By that I mean he can actually fly on command now, and he can also swim in water. Doesn't last forever obviously, but he can easily reach higher terrain with little to no effort, making his journey overall easier than Sonic, until you get to the Robotnik fight in Marble Garden, which is now the hardest fight in the game. As Sonic, all you gotta do is jump off Tails and hit the bastard, or if you're Super Sonic, you just fucking... Tails has to meticulously aim his lethal propellers at the dude, and with that jank hitbox, it's like a fucking game of Operation. Sonic though, one word for you, or maybe it's two. Insta-shield. I know to some it's not that big of a deal, but I fucking love this technique, so kiss my ass. You press the jump button in midair, and for a few frames Sonic does this little slashy thingy, extending his hitbox and giving him invincibility. You can't spam it, but nothing in the game is more satisfying than utilizing it correctly and scoring extra hits, or landing a super precise attack. Against things like Orbonauts, previously uncontested enemies in previous games, you are now the one in control, and it feels so good. This was also the game to introduce elemental shields. The basic shield is a thing of the past. Now we got 3 varieties that each come with something a little extra on top of basic protection from attacks and certain elements. Though only Sonic can utilize their special maneuvers, I always viewed that as the game equalizing the playing field for Sonic. I mean, Tails can straight up fly and Knuckles can climb walls and glide. Sonic has the Insta-Shield, yeah, but still looking a little flimsy by comparison, so they gave him these shield techniques. A mid-air dash with the fire shield and protection from fire, a bounce attack and protection from drowning with the bubble shield, the latter ability becoming less and less significant after the second stage of the game, seeing as there's barely any water hazards outside of that. Finally, a double jump, protection from electricity, and the ability to draw in rings with the electric shield. My favorite of the bunch. It's always a treat to grab one of these and try and complete stages with some fun maneuvers. And small thing, but I love the sound the bubble shield makes when you grab it. Love that shit. One more time. Level progression is standard, but as I stressed earlier, stages are larger than anything in Sonic 2, and Angel Island, despite being an island that looks like it's mostly jungle, still has a bunch of varied locations that challenge Sonic and company in their own ways, with a smorgasbord of bonuses to go around and make you feel good. I'm talking all those golden rings and item boxes filled with power-ups and extra lives. Ring posts act as checkpoints again, but crossing them with a certain number of rings unlocks a bonus stage where you can really rack up the points and extra lives, or maybe get yourself an emergency shield. Most of the time I'm not bothering because I think lives are kind of meaningless in a game where you can save your progress, but I do love getting an extra power-up, when it's the one I want in the gumball stage anyway. No, Tails, I really wanted that electric shield, you fucking idiot. And legit, I have a lot of fun with the glowing sphere stage. It's so fun trying to reach the top, and the music is choice. None of these are as fun as the special stages in Sonic 3 though. In this game, you find them via these large rings hidden in different parts of the level, and all you gotta do is find them. You don't need a certain amount of rings to enter them, unlike the checkpoints in Sonic 2. That's why I always preferred the rings compared to the checkpoints, because, you know, it was one thing to find them, but you couldn't get hurt along the way. A little too much pressure on me, part of the reason why I don't bother with the special stages in Sonic 2. Not the case here though, I love Blue Sphere. You're moving through this pseudo 3-dimensional space getting blue balls until the Chaos Emerald is yours. The longer you stay inside, the faster the stage gets, which as a kid I hated. Nothing made me jump more than accidentally hitting a bumper and heading straight into a red sphere ending the stage. But maybe it's because my brain is wired differently as an adult, but I actually like when it speeds up now. It's exhilarating, edge of my seat fun trying to grab all the blue spheres and avoiding the red ones. And word of advice, don't be like me as a kid. Just because you're Knuckles, doesn't mean you gotta grab the red balls now. You still gotta get the blue ones. What? I play as the red character, I think I gotta get the red balls. A simple color correlation. Fuck off, leave me alone. Hey, if you end up really liking Blue Sphere, plug in a Sonic 1 cartridge into Sonic and Knuckles and, well, it may seem incompatible, I mean regarding Sonic 1 it was for the longest time. Now this is actually the secret Blue Sphere game. 134,217,728 levels of Blue Sphere madness. Mother of... Some have to be repeats, right? It isn't even possible to complete. I bet the dude who first discovered this shit back in 1994 is not even halfway done. Who the hell has time for that shit? I'll just stick with normal Blue Sphere. I love finding the giant rings and playing Blue Sphere so much that I usually have all the Chaos Emeralds by the second act of Hydro City, the second stage of the game. I try not to spam Super Sonic too much because look, I love the dude, I do, but the goddamn invincibility theme is all that plays when you transform and it loops after like 3 seconds. That's just the worst. But getting all the emeralds unlocks Doomsday Zone, the true final level of the game where it's Super Sonic against Robotnik's last stand, which you defeat just by ramming your fucking face into it a couple of times. The first time a Sonic game has ever locked the true ending through the magical emeralds that are not really emeralds. They're not emeralds, that always bothered me. Why are they called Chaos Emeralds? They're not all green or emerald cut. They're more like Chaos Diamonds or Cubic Zirconias if you want to be cheap. Look, the Super Emeralds? No, these are diamonds. Oh right, the Super Emeralds, the only time in the franchise these are a thing. This was mainly to give players continued incentive to explore levels in the Sonic and Knuckles portion of the game. If you already went and got the Chaos Emeralds earlier, collecting all of these gave you Hyper Mode. Super Sonic with a broken as all fuck air dash that also flashed the screen white for a second so you know, ow. And you had this seizure-inducing aura on you at all times. I've wondered for the longest time why Hyper Sonic hasn't been brought back since this game, but then I look back and I see, man, this shit hurts my eyes looking at it. Not even Hyper Knuckles gets this crazy, but Tails gets to become Super Tails. Yeah, Super Tails, not Hyper Tails. For some reason, the kid doesn't get a super form with the Chaos Emeralds. He needs all those plus the Super Emeralds to get a transformation, but then you actually unlock it and see that Tails got the best deal. Increased speed, increased flight, and vulnerability, and yeah, his Flicky Army of Death. Yeah, I had to bring that one back because that's what it is. These little demons will attack anything on screen. Nothing stands a chance. Not Robotnik, not his minions, not even this giant metal hand. What? But I'm perfectly fine with just playing the game without super forms. Makes Robotnik and all that more interesting. And the dude ain't fucking around this time. You see it as early as the first stage because one of his first actions is burning down the jungles of Angel Island. Look at the backgrounds here. Holy shit, we're talking Scorched Earth or Scorched Mobius, I don't fucking know. He's just more aggressive altogether, rocking new contraptions you just can't bounce on 8 times without putting in some effort, though some are boring as fuck. I know it's more of a cutscene boss, but the laser and flying battery, it's just the Wing Fortress laser with no platforms and no means of hurting it. So you just slightly move out of the way for what seems like 3 hours. That's dull as hell. God, the Lava Reef boss though. It's just you making sure his bombs hit himself like 12 times, probably the worst boss in the game, I think. But it's not just Robotnik, there's also his robotic goons. There's mini bosses in Act 1 of every zone now. Stuff like this barbecue grill, this bowling ball, this thing swinging his arms in the air like he just don't care. And you know what? I'm the biggest stooge in the world. I didn't realize this was likely a Golden Axe reference in the Mushroom Hill mini-boss. I need to play more Sega games. Our tougher than leather Echidna makes his playable debut in this as well, and actually playing as Knuckles leaves a better impression of the dude than his shit-eating story counterpart. Oh, you hit a button and I go up, what a bastard. His journey is set after the events of Sonic, so this is weird. Remnants of Robotnik's inventions gain sentience and acts as a second Robotnik that specifically gives Knuckles shit. This poor dude just dealt with Robotnik shenanigans and now you got this metal asshole showing up and doing almost the exact same shit. But as an inhabitant of Angel Island, Knuckles knows all the ins and outs of almost every stage, something I really like how his playthrough emphasizes. He has access to special routes only he can take because of his rock-hard fist nipples, and this can lead to a completely different experience and level progression that you couldn't get with Sonic or Tails. Some stages can be significantly harder, or significantly easier. Seriously, Carnival Night Act 2 doesn't even have a boss fight. Knuckles is that smooth. Some stages can also be significantly shorter, but overall Knuckles is a more difficult playthrough, if for anything the boss fights. The Egg Robo is a little smarter than Robotnik regarding strategy. You gotta put an extra effort into scoring these kills. Sadly, his adventure gets a little less unique by the time you get into the Sonic and Knuckles section. There's still a few pathways only Knuckles can take, but nothing sticks out as much as the Sonic 3 portion. It's mostly the same game, only with no journey into the Death Egg and no Doomsday Zone. His journey ends in Sky Sanctuary against the returning Mecha Sonic, a robot you fight in Sonic Story a couple of times. He uses some of Robotnik's old machines and it's like, dude, it didn't work then, it's not gonna work now. But when you defeat him one-on-one, you notice, he didn't blow to pieces. That's where the Knuckles encounter comes in. I love details like that. He makes short work of that egg robo though, so much for that jerk. But then he powers up using the Master Emerald and turns into a super aggressive asshole. I love this battle, short length notwithstanding. And okay, I'm guessing Sky Sanctuary is completely separated from Angel Island and not part of it, because we're clearly not in Angel Island anymore. I'm watching it rock back and forth in the background there. Great visual though, despite being a little confusing. The ending isn't as heartwarming as Sonic 2, but it still makes me feel good. Watching Angel Island once again take to the sky, Sonic and Tails heading off in the tornado with a grateful Knuckles smiling from afar. May this never happen again. I love this game. In the end, I don't really care if you think Sonic 2 is better or if Sonic 3 is better. They're both fucking fantastic adventures that are everything I want and expect out of a 2D Sonic game. I don't care if that's a cop-out answer. If you enjoy the game, just fucking play the damn game. Sonic 3 and Knuckles is one of my favorite platformers of all time, one of my favorite games of all time. It offers so much in fun and replayability, kind of important cornerstones that dictate a game's value to me. It's one of the best looking games in the Genesis, the 16-bit era in general really. I love Sonic's new sprites, the vibrant designs of every zone, the special stages, the sound design is extra crunchy outside of all the damn rumbling, and the soundtrack is simply spectacular. It is a little exhausting to finish compared to Sonic 1, 2, and even CD, but hey, that's exactly why the save system is there. You don't need to finish this in one go. Take your time and blast off with Sonic speed at your leisure. It's just one of those games I can never tire of, and I was more than happy to play it probably more times than necessary for the sake of this video. We all have those games, and Sonic 3 and Knuckles is one of those for me. One of Sonic's best, hands down, and the standard I hold all 2D games up to. That and Sonic 2, because that game is incredible too. I know some of you were expecting a Sonic Mania-esque freakout going into my love for this game, and look, I do love this game, but I've also been playing it since 1994. I've had close to 27 years to celebrate my love for this game, and every time I play it, it's the same childlike grin across my face. Every time I enter the special stages, every time I reach the end with Super Sonic, every time I see that title screen, every time I slide down Hydro City and... What? This was the game I would play well into the ass crack of dawn during my summers. Oh god, especially with those emulator CDs I mentioned in the Sonic 1 video. Which, holy shit, I think I might finally know the reason why the sound quality of these were so ass. I think the emulation in these was the same as that Sega Smash Pack on the Dreamcast. Did you ever play this? Listen to the Sonic 1 footage. That's exactly how bad it sounds on these things. Damn, Dreamcast can't emulate for shit, I guess. So this is one of those times where I don't know how to properly end the video. We are almost done with this Sonic revisit though. We got a couple more things left to do before we head into Metroid for a bit to celebrate that anniversary. But next time we're going to go back to Sonic the Hedgehog 4, episode 1 and 2. I know there's technically already a Johnny Versus of episode 2, but I feel it'll just work for the video altogether if I look at both episodes at once. Oh, and make sure you catch the beginning of Super Mario Odyssey starting tomorrow, July 31st. It's going until August 8th and we're raising money for the Diabetes Research Institute. You can get all the information you need by visiting the Charity Room's official YouTube page. If we break our goal of $15,000, I'm doing a 100% playthrough of Super Mario Sunshine. Drunk. Isn't charity great, you dickhead? Thank you all for watching. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask. If you decide to go outside, get vaccinated if possible. Have yourselves a fantastic night. And take care. And it's Hydro City.